Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
The art of magic is mystery, majesty, pageantry, and craft. It's also about history, marketing, networking, and more. All of these topics and others are discussed on Magic Talk with your hosts, renowned magician James Lantiegne and owner of the White Rabbit Magic Shop, Joshua Lantiegne, now on Rough Edge FM.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We need to take off this splash screen so you can see the beautiful two people behind the mic. I am James Lantiegne. You now get to see me. Josh, you're like completely covered by the mic. I mean, people want to see that beautiful face of yours.
Why are you so dark?
Me?
Yeah.
I got some sun.
You look like a villain.
I do?
Yeah. You look really dark.
There you go.
Okay.
Look at that, huh? Now you get to see me.
I'm looking at the most important thing about this whole show. Give me a minute.
The deck of cards?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, this is Magic Talk, and we are actually doing this is not our first show as far as being a live video podcast. We've done video podcasts in the past. However, we have changed our format, and we will be doing video podcasts all of the time, which means that we're also going to change the time that we are on. So normally Magic Talk airs at 6 p.m. on Spreaker, as well as all of your other favorite iTunes and iHeartRadio and things like that. So we are going to be airing live visually on video, and then we will also still have our video or our audio podcast, which airs on all of the typical podcast channels. So people will get to see us. We'll be able to show some things. And at the same time, we're going to have to describe what we're showing because we're still going to have the audio.
That's very true.
That is very true.
The one downfall to radio.
The one downfall? Yeah.
Well, I mean, to radio.
The one downfall to video is that we get to look at your mic versus your face.
Well, I mean, your camera setup is... I don't have much cable to work on with, and you put me right on the corner over here.
I know. I'll get you better next time.
There we go.
Okay.
Something like that.
One of the things I wanted to mention is episode number 204 and 205 ended up going in the can.
Why?
So 204 was about defacing U.S. currency, which was, I might add, a really good podcast.
What happened to it?
There was no audio, which is why we're now switching our audio system over to this, because the system we were using before decided to completely quit. And we would do our whole show. You would see all the audio levels showing, and then come to find out it didn't actually record anything. So we had to start all over again.
That is really annoying. We had a whole guest on that one and everything. I mean, I wasn't here, which kind of upset me. I mean, I felt a little betrayed, like you didn't like me anymore, and like I was Ken. Just because I've nothing against Ken at all. I mean, I really like Ken, but I mean,
he made a good fill-in for you.
He did. I'm sure he did. But just because I'm having an addition to my family, I mean, you go and you replace me like that in my own shop of all places.
Now people are going to get to see that you're a bushman.
A bushman?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Because I can go and grow a much more defined, luscious set of facial.
Let's just say that facial hair, if it was shaved tight, would show a lot of bald spots.
Oh, really? Really? All this would show a lot of bald spots.
Is it connected finally?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
All over the place.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah. See? And you over there with your little, I'm just going to stick with my little goatee.
My little gray goatee because I color my hair.
So I think you color your goatee.
Huh?
You color your goatee because somebody told you that touch of gray thing is appealing to females. And
That's what it kind of sounds like, doesn't it?
You went too over the top. You spilled the dye in your face.
So I do want to touch upon a little bit about defacing U.S. currency, because I think that was some pretty valuable information.
Yeah.
And what got onto the subject was
like an interesting topic.
I wanted
to get in on it.
So what we decided to talk about, see, I can't do anything anymore because everybody's going to be able to see. What started the conversation was the Bill in the Lemon trick.
Yeah.
And so we're coming out with a version of that, except it's called Forbidden Fruit. And we have our own version, a unique design, shall I say, to the Bill in the Lemon, except it's a Bill in an orange or a grapefruit or something to that effect.
Yeah, the method is we've redefined or redesigned the method. Can I say the loading method?
No, but you can say that it does allow you to do it with any fruit, freely selected fruit.
Yeah.
So the fruit is in front of their eyes the whole time, and they can pick the fruit, and the bill will end up inside the fruit.
Yeah,
that's good. So, anyways, that sparked a conversation with another magician friend of mine, and what came out is that one of the magicians did this trick, and he did it with $100 bill, and I used to do it with $100 bill.
Yeah, was Coleman?
No,
somebody else.
Huh? It was somebody else.
I don't know who your friends are. You have to remember, I'm about 30 years younger than you are.
That's true.
So,
but
there's a whole history of people that I don't know who.
The friend is not important.
Okay.
So I did a show, and I had a mayor actually in the audience, and I proceeded to have them sign a $100 bill. And then the bill ended up in the fruit. After the show, the mayor asked me for a new bill because, one, it had a signature written across the face of it, which he didn't want. And two, it was diced with lemon juice, so he didn't want that either. Fortunately, I had an extra 100 with me, so I was able to swap it out. But it made me think a little bit about, wow, do I really want to be doing this if there's a chance of people getting upset or wanting a different bill? The other thing that came up is I was doing a show at a yacht club, and one of the guests there happened to be I believe it was a U.S. Marshal.
Nice.
And so when I asked them to sign the bill, they said, I can't sign the bill. It's against the law, but I don't care if somebody else signs it for me. And so they proceeded to sign the bill. So what I decided to do is I did a little research. Because obviously, as a magician, we deface a lot of currency.
Several.
Yeah.
A lot.
Coins, bills, you name it, we deface it.
Yeah.
So
all in the name of fairness.
All in the name of magic.
Magic and fairness.
Yeah, but coins is defaced all the time because they're gaff coins.
But
there's nothing fair about it.
Well, okay. Well, way to go and ruin it.
Okay. So here is the summation of the law. Defacing U.S. currency is punishable by fines of up to 10 years in prison. Nice. If you are convicted of damaging U.S. bills or coins, you may face fines, jail time, or both. For bills, the maximum fine is $100. For bills, the maximum fine is $100, and the maximum jail sentence is 6 months. For coins, the prison sentence can be up to 5 years. So the question becomes what is considered defacing U.S. currency? So the definition is, under the provision, currency defacement is generally defined as the following: whoever mutilates, cuts, disfigures, perforates, unites, or cements together, or does anything other to any bill, or does any other thing to any bill, bank draft, note, or other evidence of debt issued by the National Banking Association, Federal Reserve Bank, or Federal Reserve. So whoever mutilates, cuts, disfigures, perforates, unites, or cements together, or does anything to any bank, bill, draft, or note. There are tricks.
All they have to do then is go and look at any magic shop or any magic creator, and they have just found their quota for anybody they need to arrest for a couple of years now, actually.
So yeah, but there's a small line to it. So one of the things that we talked about,
I'm looking at this now. From what you just said, it's punishable by 10 years imprisonment.
right? Of course, I get that.
Now, if what is this? If anybody is looking, if you got the the IRS or anybody else needs to go and meet a quota per se or anything like that, they just need to go and start attacking magicians, and then there you go. I mean, unless magicians are doing something even more nefarious and they're committing fraud by printing their own currency to go and perform these magic tricks.
That's true.
I hate to be, I hate to play devil's advocate here, but I see this all the time. Unless you go to the UK, now their currency's plastic, and you can't do that anymore.
Their currency is plastic?
Yeah, you can't rip their bills anymore, from
really?
what I understand. Or I think Canada does it too.
Huh.
From what I've been told.
Okay, so here is here's basically the way the law reads. Okay, so under the provision, we went through all of that.
Yeah.
It does not specifically state that money can't be written on.
It does not.
No.
Okay, so that's the gray area.
Yeah. So it does not state that. However, it does.
What's all that nonsense about people going and having their phones on and such and putting things on silent,
having my my thing back and all that kind of stuff
on vibrate?
Yeah, I get that. So there, I just did it. So it doesn't say anything about signing. Now, what it does say though is unites or cements together. Now, there are magic tricks where you're actually cementing using rubber cement to bring like a 1 and a 5 together.
Yeah.
And so that can be, what would you say? That could be a questionable offense. However, the clause does say, with the intent to render such items unfit to be reissued.
Oh, so if you try to go and use it as legal tender, then you're in trouble.
Yeah. So it's about the intent. So our intent is not to deface or so what they're really looking at is, for people who are trying to change the value of a bill or doing something to the U.S. currency to alter it. For example, there was one situation where somebody scraped down a nickel to make it the size of a dime so they could use it in a vending machine back in the old days.
So yeah, that's a different story.
That's really what it's targeting. It's not really looking at going after the magician, because if that were true, there would be a lot of magicians in jail.
So now we're not going and using it to go and buy something. We're just using it to make more money.
Right. And part of the problem too is if currency gets defaced or taken out of circulation, it actually is pretty expensive to regenerate. So when a bill is mutilated and they have to reprint, they actually reuse the serial numbers. They have a special code in the front that indicates that it is a reissue. So when money gets worn out or
recycled, serial numbers and
right.
such.
And that's actually a really difficult process because those numbers don't fall in sequence. So, when currency gets too old to handle or is too used, they will recycle that. And they will recycle the serial numbers, which means that there's a lengthy process that's involved to do that. But regardless of all of that, I think my biggest argument is that a lot of people, especially for $100 bill, a lot of people don't feel comfortable writing across the face of their bill, especially putting their name on it.
It makes sense.
So we have.
Do you notice that just on any currency, or just the higher the bill, the more the?
I think the higher the bill, the more. So, like for example, we now have our forbidden fruit trick that we are about to release.
Yeah.
And in that trick, is about winning a $100 shopping spree, and all it does is cost you $1. And you're going to sign your bill because you have to find your dollar at the end of the game, and if you find it correctly, you win the shopping spree. So nobody cares about $1.
Not usually.
You know. And if they do, you probably got $1 in your pocket to give back to them.
Almost as useless as a penny.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
So that's my primary thing, is that when you start going after the higher currencies, I know if I were told to write across the face of the bill, I would write in tiny letters. I would not put James across the entire face of $100 bill.
No.
Not unless you're planning on giving me $100 bill, and I'll give you my one that says James. And my signature isn't going to make that bill increase in value. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, this grandiose magician who's got a huge name to himself that just made that $100 bill go and increase incrementally.
Yeah, because everybody's after they're sought after my signature.
That'd be something, wouldn't it?
It would be. But that's basically my 2 cents on defacing U.S. currency. Any questions?
That's the law. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing.
But any questions?
Yeah, I mean, so you don't like to go and ask people to go and do large bills?
No,
only in a joking manner.
Yeah,
I hope. I mean, I've only heard you do it in a joking manner.
Yeah, but I would not. I've stopped asking people for $100 bill that they sign. So,
well, I mean, seriously, you have.
Seriously, what?
On a serious matter, you have.
I ask people for money all the time.
Well, I mean, you've gone and I've heard you say your
currency.
line that I've always heard you say. Does anybody have $100 bill?
$100 bill. All right, a 50, a 20, a 10, a 1. Okay, a 1.
Yeah.
So I work my way down.
Yeah, basically, you got to talk yourself down like a really bad used car salesman.
Yes, exactly.
Not going up, going down.
All right, Josh.
What?
We got something good for you.
There is an outbreak among us. It is limited to only a small portion of our population. They have a sickness. They have an addiction. They collect bicycle playing cards, which is bad for them, but great for us because we have almost 500 decks of playing cards to choose from. They'll go crazy in here. They'll spend every last penny they... This is their story. This is Playing Cards Anonymous here on Magic Talk.
All right, now you can go
There
on.
is an outbreak among us.
Oh my gosh, I already did that.
It is limited to only a small portion of our population.
Holy cow. There is an outbreak.
Apparently,
the zombies have taken over.
So bad, it's going to go. And this is the outbreak.
Okay.
Playing cards. It's going to catch you eventually. You're going to like it. You're going to want them.
Hasn't caught me.
No, you're going to want them. And you're going to have it so bad. You're just going to get every single one that we get in there.
All right, so what is this deck we're looking at, and who the heck are you?
This is...
But I have no idea who you are.
No. Oh, fine. Hi, I'm Josh, and I'm a playing card addict.
Hi, Josh.
This is what is wrong. See, we need to go and have more members in our PCAA.
Okay, well...
it makes it more...
We're all here. We're all anxiously looking. What deck are we looking at?
All right. So we are looking at the Texas playing cards. And this is the number 4 St. James Luxury Texas playing cards. And this is the luxury edition is the blue edition.
Blue?
Blue.
Okay.
I don't know if you can tell.
Not very well, but that's okay.
Okay, you're fine. This is the blue.
There we go.
Edition.
Okay.
And this one is actually if I'm not mistaken, this is a Jackson Robinson deck. Yes, it is a King's Wild deck.
Nice. I like his decks.
Yeah, those are really, really good. Actually, it's very smooth, a nice, not crushed stock, but it's a nice luxury stock that the Jokers themselves are not identical. The Jokers look identical, but the corner pips are not. They got a red star or blue star, and it looks like a bronze star.
Okay.
But I think you could still get away with a lot of really good good flourishes with just that. A nice illustration on all the cards, though, which is really cool. Actually, you can take a good look. All of the illustrations. It kind of has that Jackson Robinson illustration. If you've ever seen any of the King's Wild illustrations before, they're all. This one kind of gives me the same impression. Have you remember the Americana ones?
Yes.
Yeah, this one kind of has that Americana sense behind it. Well, with all the different things. Now the court cards look very different. Now let's see. Got these guys right here.
So what's different about the court cards? They've altered the
they
designs.
The illustration is very different on them from what I'm used to with a.
Yeah, it doesn't have the typical boxy kind of pattern. It's so.
But as far as a King's Wild type of court card, usually it's the illustration is has a tad more of a standard looking to it, but this one he changed it up a little bit more.
And he's holding a leaf instead of a sword.
It looks like I forget what they call those, but it's a different type of illustration behind it. Are you hot? And the aces actually look like they have a what do they call that? It's
almost like a badge.
Actually, yeah.
So
I mean, works for that. Lone Star, Texas. You know, the Texas Rangers.
So how does it fare?
Let's find out. The most important question.
If I remember correctly, King's Wild typically does faro pretty well.
Yeah, these ones. It doesn't have any. I just want to make one quick note. It doesn't have any extra court cards, but it does have two other cards in here that I think this is in relation to the other deck of cards in the series because it's two
got
decks.
A double back, but
it's a red-blue double back. Okay. I think because there's another deck in here that's a white one, but it's because this one's blue, the other one, another Texas deck is white. So I got to double verify that for you guys.
Okay,
we'll find out. Now let's find out what it can do. Now, do you remember if it's back or face?
I have no idea.
See, that's what happens when you neglect your cards.
I know.
That was nice.
Butter.
Okay, straight from the back. And
all right. Oh, doesn't that sound
that
pretty?
Felt good.
All right,
that
so
was fantastic.
What are we looking at for price?
What we're looking at for price, if you're going here suggested retail, I believe that one's going for $35.
$35 for that deck?
$35 for this deck. It is a special edition.
You opened up a $35 deck?
I did. And I feel good about it because it is well worth it. It feels really good.
You're killing me.
It is. Actually, this deck feels like it'll hold up really well. It's got a good spring back, and the cards it's got really good strength behind the cards and good flexibility. It's not like it's like I said, it's not like a crush stock like you would expect off of a gold seal like the Richard Turners, or like a like you would expect from I think a Jerry's, like how they made their stuff,
right?
But it has something really what you would expect out of a good casino style deck,
Cool.
like a nice B9. I think actually even these cards, they feel like they have a B9 stock.
So, do you remember what we talked about last week?
Kind of. Actually, was I here last week?
Yeah,
kind of.
we did a show that didn't end up producing the show because.
So a little bit, but I was sleepy.
What did we talk about? We talked about Bark.
We did.
Yes. So I'm going to give you a quick update on Bark. We were talking about the fact that I was going to start doing phone calls. So with Bark, for those of you who haven't listened to our previous show when we ended up reviewing all these different services.
How could they listen? You said that the audio was garbage.
That one was, but we did a whole show on Bark and other entertainment outlets. So the thing with Bark is, one of the things that I noticed is there's a lot of people, a lot of birthdays, which we established when I first gave the initial review.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I discovered in working with them is that people really don't know what they're asking for.
That I've noticed a lot. You see things asking for a magician, or you see things asking for even a strolling magician when they're really not looking for a strolling magician.
Right. Because we had some where it's like a birthday party for a 4-year-old and they're asking for walk around.
Yeah.
And they want you there for 2 hours.
You're not looking for walk around.
And unless they're trying to entertain all their guests, but I've come across some where it's like, we want somebody for 2 hours and there's going to be 14 guests and we want a strolling magician. And it's like, no, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Not for 2 hours. For 14 guests, no. You'll be lucky if you get an hour. I mean, you could do an hour of magic, but you're all sitting there watching at the same time.
You're probably going to get bored.
Yeah. So I think what ends up happening on Bark is that people are going in and they basically just have this list of options. How long are you looking for the performer? Well, the party's going to be for a couple hours. What kind of magic do you want? And so they select strolling. So I don't think that people really understand what it is they are selecting, other than the fact that they may know, I want a magician.
So Bark really isn't guiding them.
No, it's just
a hole.
No, it's a free selection. They're just going in and choosing things.
And I have noticed that too, because I've even seen it on a couple of different stuff. You get an email really that says, hey, Mary or Rachel is looking for this. And it's almost like a third hand bit.
Right.
Where this person, or Bark, heard from Rachel that they're looking for this, and then Bark goes and tells you and a million other people.
Yeah, all Bark is doing is playing it's like the bucket.
Yeah.
People who are looking for something can go on, and people who are providing something can go on. And, Bark is just giving you the handshake. They haven't evaluated it. They haven't looked at anything. So it's pretty neutral in what it's giving you. So you're relying on the fact that the customer has a general idea of what it is they're looking for in the way of magic, which most people don't understand.
So I've seen that where I'm looking for an entertainer, and then they list off a list of entertainers, DJ,
right,
balloon artist, yada, 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 yada. They go down.
And when you're, if you're having a 1-year-old birthday party and you're looking for a strolling magician for 10 guests, unless you're performing for the adults and that's kind of it, they just happen to, we're going to have a 1-year-old birthday party, but we want to entertain everybody else. You're not entertaining that kid.
I'm fairly certain you're not.
So the update to Bark is one of the things that I think would be very viable is when you send out an email, one, you're taking a risk that they're not even going to look at the email. Two, you paid for that credit, which can be $5 to $7, maybe even more sometimes, maybe a little bit less. But you pay for that credit. So if you're going to pay for the credit, you're better off having a phone conversation with them saying, hey, I saw your posting on Bark. I just wanted to get a little bit more information. I noticed that you were looking for a magician for 3 hours. That's not generally what we do. So, for a child's 4-year-old birthday party, out of those guests, how many are those going to be kids? Are you looking to entertain the kids? Or are you looking to entertain the adults? So you really need to have a conversation to dive in deeper to find out what's going on. And so this next week, I'm going to be making actual phone calls instead of sending emails to see if I get a better response and better activity, I should say better response and better results from making the phone call versus sending an email. So I will report back to everybody on that.
So step 1, phone call, and then after phone call, maybe email, because then the email, that makes sense, because then you got to go and send out the contract.
Yeah, you can
and all
follow
the
up
other
with them and
stuff
say thanks for the call and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All right. We're actually going to review one of our own products coming up next.
Is it good? Should I buy it? Does it suck? Did I get ripped off? Is it more of a craft project than a magic trick? These questions and more answered now on the Magic Item of the Week here on Magic Talk.
So I've discovered that we probably want to put up a video when these things are playing.
That would be nice.
Because then I don't have to pause. Yeah. Then I don't have to pause the audio afterwards too. So the item that we're going to evaluate is it's going to be a trick called Magic Lotto. And this is actually one of our first productions. It's one of the first magic tricks that we produced and actually put out as under a White Rabbit label. Since that time, we now have about 9 items that we are in the process of producing that will have our label on it. And these are all handmade items. Everything that we do is handcrafted. Now you're looking at Magic Lotto and you're probably going, well, what did you have to do to hand make this? Inside Magic Lotto, you get
a lot.
Yeah. Inside Magic Lotto, one of the things that you get is you get 25 scratch tickets.
Many hours of endless, mindless stickers.
We actually put
the
stickers on each one of the scratches. And we didn't just
a long
flop them on either.
No,
we meticulously put them on so that they covered the circles like they were supposed to.
We didn't pay the kid down the street to go
I let
and
you talk about your cards. Let me talk about our item.
I'm remembering the trauma of doing that,
which is why you didn't
hours and hours. It was a lot of work.
So you get 25 scratch tickets. There are actually 2 forces in these scratch tickets so that you can do the trick more than once. We do also sell replacements to this. Also inside the box, we have a deck of bicycle playing cards that is set up for the gimmick. It's set up for the force as well as for the end result, which ends up basically meaning that the decks all turn blank or the cards all turn blank. And we also give you the packet with the 2 different forces. So you get the scratch tickets, the force cards, the playing card deck, which is basically a blank deck, and it will allow you to do this trick twice in the same arena because you can come up with different results. So this, like I said, was one of our first, and I think that we did a pretty good job with it. You know, it's packaged nice and beautifully. It's in a 4-color box that was custom made for this routine. And essentially what you do is you say that, a lot of people like to play scratch tickets, and magicians are no different than anyone else, except we like to play scratch tickets a little differently. We like to play them with a deck of cards. So you pull out the scratch ticket and you read on the scratch ticket that says, in order to win, you have to select 4 random cards. So you give them the deck, you show them that the cards have faces on them, you give them the deck, you ask them to count down.
So they have a process that they end up doing, which leads them to this selection of 4 cards.
Right. And so you get your 4 random cards, you lay them on the table, you then ask them to scratch the 4 tickets or the 4 circles. And one by one, they read off the circle and you drop the card down and it matches, and you drop it and it matches and it matches. And so you match all 4 cards, which you then proceed to say, well, 4 matches, what does that get you? A free ticket? It's really the crystal ball, the mega ball that really draws in all the money. So in order to get that ball, what does it tell us to do? It tells us to add up the value of all 4 cards and then count down in the deck. So you add them all up, they count down, they get to that last card, they unscratch the crystal ball, and it's a perfect match. And so you say, oh my gosh, you are actually incredibly lucky. In fact, you are so lucky you fan out the cards. Those are the only cards in the deck because the rest of the deck is blank. And then it gives you a little souvenir to hand out to them, which is what I say. I always say it's like a fortune cookie because on the lottery ticket, it says it has a little, fortune cookie kind of saying that we wrote. And it essentially says, believe in yourself and you will always come out a winner. And so you got a nice little card that you can hand out. You could put your phone number on the back of it. And it gives them a little souvenir to remember the occasion, which is always nice when you're performing and strolling. So this trick sells for $40, and it is only available at White Rabbit, WRMagic.com. What?
And you just opened it.
No, this is mine. I actually bought one. In fact, I bought the first one. So
I'm throwing it right back at you.
I know you are. So check it out. We have 9. Ooh, I didn't even think of this. That makes 10.
Oh,
we actually have fully developed 10 new products that we're going to be releasing under the White Rabbit label. All these products are handmade. They're custom made. Most of them are out of wood, and they're nicely stained and varnished. One is called Stoplight, which is a kind of a spin-off of the Stratosphere. It has a new mechanism or a new method to doing that. The other one is a billet box.
Well, don't give it all away now.
Okay, so we're gonna do a show that's gonna be dedicated just to the items that we have developed, and we'll have available on White Rabbit Magic. All right, anything else, Josh?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about the defacing of the U.S. currency, I found out.
We're not talking about that anymore. We're done.
Well, there was one thing you missed.
Okay, what's that?
Because there was one in relation to. I noticed.
By the way, that's the beautiful packaging.
That is the beautiful packaging.
Yeah. Okay.
You were just talking about it.
Yeah. Go ahead. I forgot that I put that up there so that I could actually show it while we were talking, but I forgot to do that.
You did.
So now I did.
That's okay.
All right, go ahead.
I'm starting to realize that as a father, you do forget things
Alzheimer's.
quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So what were you saying?
Well, when you're doing the, I talked to somebody in our local bank. It was because I was curious about that. What's the limit behind it all? And they were saying that if you do anything to it, all you have to do is bring it back to us, and then as long as it doesn't go back into circulation, it's fine. Because if you go and you cut it up and you mangle it or anything like that, you're not going to get into any type of trouble.
Yeah, the bank wants it back so that they can reissue those serial numbers.
Yeah, so they figure it out, reissue the serial numbers, and then they can destroy it.
Right.
So that then that doesn't go out anywhere.
But again, the main defacing issue was about altering it to defraud.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the big thing, is they don't want it going out to be used.
Why are you bringing us back full circle?
Because I wanted to. You didn't bring it back full circle. You said this, and oh yeah, about that, and then they go somewhere else.
Oh, I didn't give you an opportunity to say anything.
No.
Oh.
And you didn't complete it. I don't like a non-complete thing. That's like, I'm part of the Clean Your Plate Club. I don't know why you're not. You're a very picky eater.
Yeah. So is that what we're gonna do now? Is we're gonna have an episode called Clean Your Plate?
Yeah, which means finish your sentences.
All right.
The topic you're talking about.
You got 8 seconds. Anything more?
Well, I believe that was it. Oh, and if you go and you bend any of the coins that you keep bending while you're going around town, I think you're kind of...
Well, don't go tell people I bend coins.
Why?
Well,
you do it everywhere. And you make it, and everybody's just begging for you to do it too.
I know,
They're throwing your quarters at you Like, can you do mine? Can you do mine?
Bend mine. It's a souvenir.
Yeah, I know. So I'll sign it. Can you bend it? I'm like, dude, you can't use that anymore.
That
now.
was a strolling show that we did, and I think I must have done that bent quarter trick about 25 times.
Oh my God, it was a whole $20 worth of quarters that you bent.
It reminded me of when you go to the amusement park and you put your penny in and you get
kinda.
I'm like that machine.
You should have charged like that. It should have been something. Put some money in, and then you can bend a quarter.
I'm that machine. So
you should have done it.
Anyways, thank you all for listening.
Funny.
Thank you all for listening. Keep in mind that our episodes will be on at 4:00 via Facebook and YouTube, and they will be available by podcast on all of your favorite podcast channels at 6:00 on the same day. So thank you for listening. I hope you all enjoyed the show. I hope you didn't mind looking at my face too long, and I didn't show Josh all that much, so it wasn't a problem.
Well, man, probably not, because I was falling asleep. 6:00. Can we make that a little early?
We don't have to do 6, Josh.
My bedtime is just.
I know we don't have to do 6.
My bedtime's going to get a little bit later.
We see a hand. Let's talk to the hand.
I'm tired.
All right.
I'm going to have a 1-day-old baby on my hands in a little while.
That's true. Well, it's only got to be 1 day for 1 day.
That's very true. So. But you know how difficult that was.
All right. Episode number 204 is in the can. So thank you all.
We got to do that again?
No, we do not. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week.
Abracadabra, hocus pocus, presto. Pick a card, any card. Some words are magic. They sparkle with the promise of something wonderful. But they're still just words until you add that something wonderful to the mix. And that's what you'll find at the White Rabbit Magic Shop in Santa Paula. Their inventory includes world-class tricks and illusions that are not only for sale, but that they will teach you to master. In addition, White Rabbit Magic Shop is world-renowned for its amazing collection of bicycle playing cards, with nearly 500 decks in stock. So, if you're serious about magic, then say it with us. At the White Rabbit Magic Shop, we believe in magic. The White Rabbit Magic Shop, located at 15500 Telegraph Road, Suite B15 in Santa Paula. For more information, please call 805-850-3051 or check us out online at wr-magic.com. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.